In a world where most people work 5 days a week, putting down roots and making permanent homes, there's a self-reliant group of men whose lives have never fit this pattern. Men like Bill Martinelli, who counts his work week in seconds, riding saddle broncs in rodeo after rodeo, gambling on his own skill to survive. This is his story, the story of a rodeo cowboy.
I'm John Willis. Years ago, when cowboys would get together at the end of a roundup, they'd hold a series of contests to determine who were the best riders and ropers. Over the years, these rodeos became annual celebrations with admission fees for spectators and fixed prizes for the cowboys. Today, these rodeos have become so popular and the stakes so high that they've given birth to a new breed of professional athlete, the rodeo cowboy. Cowboys who perhaps have never seen a working ranch, but spend all their time traveling from rodeo to rodeo.
For 50 weeks a year, these professional cowboys are on the road, appearing in as many as 4 rodeos a week, living the independent existence which they have chosen for themselves. This is Bill Martinelli, third-ranking world champion saddle bronc rider. He's been driving all night, straight through from Nampa, Idaho, to make the opening day of the annual Salinas Rodeo. Bill grew to love horses when he was a boy in Culver City, California, and rode his first saddle bronc when he was 17. Caught up by the excitement of rodeo life, he's made it his life for the past 10 years. Since the start of the season, Bill has been traveling the rodeo circuit with 2 friends, Bob Edson, who rides bareback horses, and Jim Charles, a bull rider. Their everyday life is strictly share and share alike, whether it's work, splitting expenses for gas and food, or taking care of each other if one of them is injured or has a run of bad luck. Before checking into a motel, Bill looks at the draw sheet to find out what horse he'll ride today. The horse a cowboy draws is always a matter of chance. But a good horse can mean better money, since 1/2 of the points a rodeo cowboy scores depends on the performance of his mount. Now Bill goes up to sign in at rodeo headquarters. Each of the cowboys pays an entry fee of $100. They hope to win back this investment, plus a good deal more during the 4 days at Salinas.
Whenever a guy enters a rodeo, it's a gamble. You put your money on the line, and what you're saying is, I can beat everybody, so that's why I'm here. Of course, there's a lot of other guys feel the same way.
Living constantly away from home, Bill uses each rodeo headquarters as a post office.
I've lived in motels so much in the last 7 or 8 years, it's just like being home. Of course, I'd really like to go home and see my folks and all that stuff, but I can only stay there just so long. I really hate to sit around after a couple of days. I just gotta leave, get together with the guys and go off to another rodeo. Seems like every rodeo we pull up to, we gotta go put some laundry in. And you gotta tell the goofy son of a guns every time to starch and crease the pants down the front, or they'll starch and crease them down the side, and you'll look like a little sailor boy walking down the road. And that ain't good.
For 50 years, the Salinas Rodeo has ranked with Cheyenne, Calgary, and Pendleton as one of the biggest events of its kind. Thousands of farmers, tourists, and rodeo fans gather, generating over $2 million worth of business. For the people of Salinas, it's the biggest weekend of the year. Minutes before the opening ceremonies, Bill finds a place for himself and his gear behind the chutes. He is one of over 400 cowboys from all over the United States and Canada who have converged on Salinas.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from the rodeo arena, all of the cowboys over there, and from all of the participants here on the track today, here's a real hearty Western welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and your little cowboys and cowgirls. Here is our first event on the track, our grand entry. We've had record crowds in our grand entry so far, ladies and gentlemen. How about making a nice, warm California welcome to all of these people now on this final performance? Let's hear it for the grand entry.
When the grand entry comes in and everything, usually I'm not paying much attention. They got a jillion sheriff's posses out there, and every kid in the neighborhood's got a horse, and he wants to ride, and they let him in. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they can stay outside and let us get on with the rodeo.
The first event at the Salinas Rodeo is bareback riding, Bob Edson's special.
Here's a Sacramento, California cowboy, Bob Edison, who is currently ranking 5th for the championship of the world in bareback riding. Here he is on Indian sign out of chute number 12. Here's a good horse and a good man. Watch those spurs. The higher he gets him, the better his chances of bucking off, the better his chances of marking. He makes it.
As Bob walks back, the next event, calf roping, is already in progress. Bob's ride has left him out of the money. Next one up is Jim Charles on the Brahma Bulls. Riding a Brahma bull, which can weigh over a ton, is the most dangerous of all rodeo events. Not only must Jim stay on for 8 seconds, but on getting off, he faces the additional hazard of being trampled or hooked by the bull.
Getting ready now with our next cowboy, Jim Charles. Jim Charles. Boy makes his home in Oakdale, California. He is ranking 11th place for the all-around championship of the world and is currently in 2nd place for the world championship title in bull riding. Whichever way they go, Jim usually stays with them and lands on his feet. Great going, Jim. And there's Wilbur in to get the bull's attention. Wilbur, oh, looky here now.
Jim's score, 169, puts him out of the running for the day's prize money also. Next event, steer wrestling. After waiting at the chutes most of the day, Bill gets ready to test his skill in the saddle bronc ride. His chute number is called up to the tower. Here, the officials time and control each ride, sounding a horn at the end of 8 seconds. In the arena, the judges will score Bill's horse on how hard he bucks, and Bill himself on how well he rides.
Here he is, Bill Martinelli of Playa del Rey, California, on Circle C. Here's one of the toughest young men in California today in bareback and saddle bronc riding. Nice going, Bill. Watch your pickup man taking him down.
The judges score Bill Martinelli 172. Not high enough to top his competition.
Whenever I make a bad ride on a horse, I feel pretty sorry about it. It makes me mad. That wasn't a bad horse. I just don't think I rode him. I don't think I rode him worth 8 eggs, if you want to know something.
Today, Bob, Jim, and Bill have ridden a total of 24 seconds. None of them have done very well, but they aren't particularly worried. They know they have 3 more days to make their trip to Salinas pay off.
It can get you down when you don't win no money, but I'd still rather be a cowboy than work 5 days a week. I see somebody cooped up in an office and I just feel kind of bad for him. Sure glad it ain't me. This way I don't have to answer to nobody. Nobody tells me what to do. Only guy I depend on is my own self.
In a life where a day's work consists of an 8-second ride, Bill finds himself with a lot of spare time.
Well, you got nothing anymore, Martinelli.
I got a lace club right here. My damn feces are hurting me. Who bit the end of my stomach?
Why'd you bit, Martinelli?
Longer. Because the man bit 3, that's why I didn't bit.
Let's
try to play. That's yours. Take that now. Rock her back, Jack. That's mine, right?
Somebody ain't played on that.
What the hell's... I do declare. I do declare. Take a little 10 over there. I declared. You didn't have to game me. Don't ever play that way when a man declares.
Or
I declare. I declare if you want to game it is. I know you declared, son, but I'm after the game. Well, you shan't get it. I ain't giving you. I'll get it. It's my game. I'm having that game.
we're a game hog, Martinelli.
Well, I'm after some points, my boy. I lost $1 on that last night.
Cowboys like to party at a rodeo. Just putting there every night. We like to clean up and look good. We call it putting on cloth pants. That's cowboy pants we had made. You know, tailored and everything.
You don't know what you're with. Yeah, round and around and around and around, up and down. Yeah, round and around and around and around, up and down. Yeah, round and around and up and down, and a 1, 2, 3 twist, 1, 2, 3 twist.
Sometimes you see in movies where a cowboy lays awake all night having nightmares about the bronc he's got to ride the next day. Me, I go out and party all night, hear some of that good country music and hug them girls a little. It don't bother me too much riding, because after all, I work maybe 8 seconds, and I guess I hold myself together for 8 seconds.
An old song for all the cowboys and all the rest of the people in the house. This is going way back. We're going to do it some instrumental this time. A thing called the Red River Valley in just a second.
Tomorrow afternoon, Bill Martinelli will ride another saddle bronc. and try to pick up some winnings. But tonight is party night in Salinas, California. On the last day of the Salinas Rodeo, Bill grabs a quick lunch before going over to the rodeo grounds.
Cowboys all like to associate with cowboys. They understand each other. Where with somebody who's never been around cowboys, a lot of times they'll say something a cowboy might take offense at. They call you Tex or something like that. Well, cowboys don't like to be called Tex. It kind of makes you mad.
The horse that Bill is drawn to ride this afternoon is supplied by rodeo stock contractor Andy O'Reilly. Bill will get some tips on the horse's behavior, which will help him during his ride.
There's all kinds of horses. What we call a whipped cream horse is one that's easy to ride. Just can't hardly make a mistake on him. A rank horse is a horse you gotta have your mind on your business, or he'll usually get you on the ground. A dink, a horse that don't buck too good, he's a dink.
After 3 days of competition, Bill Martinelli has yet to ride a winner. His friends Bob Edson and Jim Charles have not done much better. All told, the three have not even covered their entry fees. Bill injured his ankle in a fall earlier this season, and so he has to tape up before each ride.
When you're rodeoing, you get knocked around a whole lot. I've been pretty lucky. I cracked a few ribs and I broke some toes, and then I had a horse fall over on me last year. He rolled over on top of me and kept me crippled for about a month or so. I just knew I was all broke to pieces, but heck, I was just bent a little, I guess. Didn't break nothing. Cowboys don't use sharp spurs. They don't want to go cutting the horses up. The kind we use to ride broncs is a small spur and it's dull. If it were sharp to where it'd stick in the horse, it'd just cause you to get bucked off. I've rode this one saddle ever since I started riding saddle broncs. It's just like a rocking chair. I don't know what it is about it. A lot of guys think it's the worst saddle in the world. And I think the same thing about theirs.
While Bill is getting ready, the bucking horses for the saddle bronc event are loaded into the chutes. Saddle bronc riding is the classic event at any rodeo. The event the cowboys themselves look to the most. In this, the rider has nothing to hang on to, but must ride his horse by sheer sense of balance and horsemanship. Today, Bill has drawn a horse called the Whistle, with a reputation for being rough and hard to handle.
You hear about it in the magazine as a fight between man and beast. Well, they ain't fighting each other. You're trying to team up with that horse to beat those other guys on their horses. And you want that horse to buck the best of his ability to make a good ride out of it. Shoot, I'd give anything I had to be champion of the world. I don't care what they say. Everybody likes to be champion. That's something he's always got. He's the world's champion. When he gets to be 80 years old, he can say to his great-grandchildren, I was the world's champ. and by golly, they can't take it away from him.
Bill Martinelli's got his rein measured now, and he crawls down on the horse to Whiskey. Martinelli is qualified on all three of his previous horses here at the California Rodeo this year. This is fourth and final try for the big prize money. Bill Martinelli about set to go. Slides those feet in the stirrups, nods his head and says, "Let's have him."
Bill scores 174. He's in the lead with a good chance for today's top money. But there are 12 other cowboys still to ride this afternoon. Among them, Winston Bruce, last year's world champion from Alberta, Canada.
Next to go, the champion of the world, Winston Bruce from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, on Tiny Man. Look at that sensational bucking by that horse. And Winston Bruce shows you the form that won him the world title last year. Smooth timing at dead even spur and lick every jump. Winston Bruce.
The judges give Bruce 177 points. And Bill knows that he cannot win first money. By the end of the day, several other riders also turn in better scores. As soon as the bronc riding is over, Bill stops by the rodeo headquarters to pick up the checks for himself, Bob, and Jim. This time, they haven't won enough to cover their expenses. Next time, or the time after, they will. But most important, for Bill Martinelli, there will always be another rodeo, another chance to ride and win.